Good day, my name is Ingo Peters, Domingo Informatics. When we talk about knowledge mobilization strategies, we are invariably talking about how to make something that is known ready for action, how to take research or new findings and put that into a form where it can be used for innovation, or put that into a form where it can be used to drive policy change. Looking at a case study where the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education put together a series of brokering functions, we can see that they recognize this as well. Policy influence is a very important element, or endgame rather, for a knowledge mobilization strategy. And one of the ways that they see that being done is through social media influence or media strategies. I would take that one step further by suggesting that policymakers are quite often board members, CEO types, public servants perhaps, certainly politicians. And these folks lead pretty busy lives, and more we're seeing a trend that they are migrating to using mobile devices, smartphones, more so now laptops and tablets. So if we want to influence them and make them aware of what is happening and share some of our findings so that they can provide feedback in the form of comments, or that they can like certain elements, become involved interactively in what we develop, then we need to make sure that our enabling technology is able to cater to these mobile devices. This is where Alfresco comes in. Alfresco Share, I've talked about it a number of times. It's an open source content management, document management platform, and specifically it has an element or a component called Alfresco Share that lets you do collaboration. And there's great support for mobile devices built in. So I'll talk about that in this blog post. Okay, so let's start with the iPad. You would first go to the App Store and download the Alfresco application. It's free of charge. It's put out by the vendor, Alfresco Software, in conjunction with their partner, Zia Consulting. Once you have it installed, you would start by configuring it for the account you want to use on the iPad. In my case, that was John Smith, and I've put in my server details. And once that's done, you simply click on the Browse Documents link to start things off. Fairly quickly you should see the sites that you have access to, your user has access to. In my case, that's the Office of Knowledge Mobilization. I think the most interesting button to use at the bottom here is the Activities button, because that way you can keep abreast of what has been going on in the site, what other changes people have been making, what comments they've left, what revisions they've made. And what I especially like about it is that if you click on one of the items in this list, so long as it's a document, not a wiki, you can actually see the contents in the preview pane on the right hand side. So that's pretty handy. Here's another one, another document that I've uploaded previously. But coming back to this one here, the K-Star conference, you'll notice that by clicking on the comments link, I can leave comments with the document that the author will see in his or her own feed. So that's a quick and easy way to participate in the publishing process. The other thing you can do is click on the like button to give it your approval or disapproval. Now the other thing I've done here is I've actually gone to the Documents link, and this would be useful if I want to look up documents that haven't been touched in a while that are therefore not in the activities list, but I know that it is in a folder. Or maybe I want to upload a document. That would be another reason to come here as well. So by clicking on the download link when I'm on a document, I can save this document to the iPad's memory for offline viewing if I'm not connected to the network. I can also share the document via email, although I find that's generally not as useful a thing to do, because that's one of the reasons that we're using a document management system, is so that we don't have so many different versions of the same document in circulation. Because if you do that, then you're never quite sure, is that the latest version? Who's editing it? Am I making changes to an older version? Will it be overwritten by somebody else? So I prefer to use a different method if I'm going to send out a link to somebody who doesn't have access to Alfresco. Now, first of all, before I mention that, keep in mind that I can add any external user to Alfresco, but I can't do that through this iPad application. So I would have to use a laptop or a regular PC. So let's suppose for a second, maybe I'm at a conference or something, and I want to get somebody's feedback on this. I could use Dropbox. Dropbox is free. Dropbox is a service that will synchronize files between your mobile devices, between your laptop, and between your PC. And if I have it installed, then if I click on the share link for a given document, it automatically shows up here. Incidentally, if I have Quick Office Pro installed, and there's a fee for doing that one, then it will also appear in this list, and I'll actually be able to edit documents while I'm on the go and check them back in again. Coming back to my Dropbox example, I'm going to say open in Dropbox, and that brings me to a directory listing from Dropbox. And if I'm going to share this with somebody, I'm going to want to use the special public folder that is created by default by Dropbox. I will do that. I will click on the upload button, and it will be uploaded. Now I'm not in Alfresco anymore. You notice everything looks a little bit different. This is the Dropbox application. And I've clicked on the chain link here, and that allows me to email a link to this document, which, as you remember, is in the public folder, to another user. So there it is. It automatically fills all this in. I just have to put in a name. There's the link, accessible from anywhere on the internet. It's a secret link, so there's no authentication required, but you do need to know what the link is. If somebody were to share the link with their friends, those friends would also be able to view the document. They wouldn't be able to make changes to it, or they could, but they wouldn't be able to put it back into the Dropbox again, nor would that, even if they were able to make that change, be reflected in Alfresco. So it's up to the user to make sure that if there is a change, it makes its way back. Going back to Alfresco now, I can upload documents as well. I can actually take a photo with my embedded camera. I can record a bit of audio, perhaps a dictation that I want somebody to transcribe from me. Or I can upload a document or even create a folder. So that's pretty handy. I can take a document perhaps that I've uploaded via Dropbox, via some other way, or maybe that I found on the internet. In my case, I'm going to show how I'm uploading a little funny cartoon. So there's the new document in the folder. And if I click on it, I get the preview. It's a little Dilbert cartoon. And Dilbert is contemplating how their new product will be one up on the iPod. And I can leave a comment on it as well. So just to recap, the iPad application lets you see documents. It lets you edit them if you have Quick Office Pro installed. Check them back in. It lets you put in a comment or a like. And it integrates well with Dropbox. You can use the activities link at the bottom to stay abreast of what has changed. Now, of course, that's not the only way to stay abreast. As a regular user of Alfresco, you also receive email notifications when something changes that's of interest to you. So there's two different ways to keep up to date with content in your community. It's a very handy application, and given the fact that it's free, it's a pretty good value. As an added bonus, the same application that I just showed on the iPad runs happily on your iPhone as well. Of course, given that you have a smaller form factor, there's a limit to what you can do, but it's still pretty handy. So you can browse your site, you can get a preview of various documents, and of course you can hold it sideways to get a little bit more view out of it. And Quick Office Pro also runs on your iPhone, so you could make changes. Personally, I wouldn't be editing a document on an iPhone, but the option is there. You can open these documents in any application that handles that specific type of content.